I would like to welcome each and every one of you to the regular public meeting, Henry County Board of Commissioners, 6:30 p.m., February the 19th, 2013. We would all stand, if you're able. Let's have an invocation by the Honorable Commissioner Bowman, and if you would, please stand for the pledge to the flag.
It's my honor and privilege to do the invocation tonight. Father, we come to you tonight. We want to thank you for all the things you've sent our way and the fact that we're Americans and born in America, the greatest country, Lord, that's ever been and ever will be. Lord, we ask that you be with our men and women that serve abroad, Lord, that you'd bring them home safe, that you'd build a hedge around them, Father, that, Lord, we'd get them home where they need to be, where they'll be with their families. Lord, we ask that you make sure, Lord, Father, that you bring our firefighters and our police officers home from their shift safe tonight. Those that stand in the gap, Lord, that are here, some here tonight, and, Lord, that are here to protect us, Lord, and we really thank you for that. We ask that, Lord, that you lead, guide, and direct us, that you'd have us be what you would have us to be in order to serve this county, Lord, and be a service to the citizens of this county. All these things I pray and ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Our
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I would like to recognize the Boy Scouts Troop 162. If y'all would stand, please. Moms and dads, you're part of it. I want to take this opportunity to tell you that this is how I got started in government. And I'm sure y'all well on your way, working on Eagle Scout. It put me at a council meeting when I was 11 years old in Hampton, working on my citizenship in the community merit badge. And I'm sure y'all are working on some kind of community type activity here. But I want to tell you that if it's any way I can help you or the board can help you, feel free to call upon them. And just for the record, why don't we come up here and let's get a picture of all the Boy Scouts and moms and families and with the board and I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda as published. We have a second? Second. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. The following items have been tabled by the applicant and will not be heard tonight, so if you're here for a public hearing, MC 12-07, Justin Homes Incorporated, Conyers, Georgia, requests a modification to a zoning condition for property located at 224, 340, and 2609 Meadowbrook Drive and land lot 79 and 82 of the 6th District. This request is to modify a zoning condition regarding front and rear end setback. So if you're here for that, thank you for coming, but the applicant has withdrew that request. It will not be heard tonight. So moving right along, we have several proclamations and some significant awards tonight. So at this time, I would like to ask our communication director if she would be so kind as to read the proclamation. This proclamation is recognition of 100 years service of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Do we have any sorority members here? I think it'd be very appropriate if just stay there, and when she gets to reading it, we'll all come up here and get a picture. Does that work for y'all? Yes. Okay. Unless you want to stand up, good. Otherwise, we'll read it.
Whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is the largest African-American Greek-lettered sorority in the world and is a private, nonprofit organization comprised of more than 250,000 predominantly black college-educated women whose primary purpose is to provide support through program initiatives and public service in local communities throughout the world. And whereas founded in 1913 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., the sorority currently has more than 950 alumni collegiate chapters located in the United States, England, Japan, Germany, the Virgin Islands, Bermuda, the Bahamas, and the Republic of Korea. And for 100 years, the sorority and its members have remained dedicated to the overall mission of promoting academic excellence, providing scholarships, supporting the underserved, educating and stimulating participation in the establishment of positive public policy, and providing solutions to problems in their communities. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is faithfully committed to the development of programs based upon the organization's 5-point programmatic thrust: economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement, as established by its founders over 100 years ago. And whereas the Henry County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated has exemplified the spirit of their founders in their respective roles as educators, advocates, leaders, and activists, both professionally and voluntarily, and through their efforts to improve the quality of life and overall well-being of citizens in Henry County, Georgia. And whereas the Henry County Alumni Chapter's mission and programs benefit our community through initiatives such as mentorship programs for underserved youth, scholarship and awards programs, charitable giving at home and abroad, health and wellness seminars, educational political forums, and voter registration campaigns. And whereas Henry County wishes to congratulate members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated on its 100 years of service, not only to various local communities across the state of Georgia, but also the entire world. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Henry County Board of Commissioners that Henry County recognizes the outstanding contributions of the Henry County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority and urges all citizens to join us in thanking them for their continued support and dedication, and wish all chapter members much success as they utilize their collective strength and lead the way in making a positive difference in the lives of all citizens. This 19th day of February, 2013.
Thank you so much. We'll come up and have a picture made.
The next proclamation was for the fire department, and Chief Bill Lacey was going to come up and give a brief presentation.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. The Unit Citation Award is an award that's typically given to a fire department company that performs in an outstanding manner on a particular call. However, the complexity of the call that we're going to talk about this evening required that the resources and personnel of nearly two-thirds of our North Battalion personnel would be used. The call tested the skills and the capabilities of those who responded that morning, and this call required that our personnel would provide fire suppression, search and rescue, and also medical activities simultaneously and seamlessly to reach the desired outcome. Make no mistake about it, this call was a tragic call because a life was lost there. But the silver lining to that dark cloud was that 3 lives were saved that day. On January 6th of this year, at 10 minutes before 6 in the morning, most of the North Battalion of the fire department was awakened to a residential structure fire with persons trapped. Before the call would be resolved, engines 3, 7, 9, 11, ladder 3, squad 11, and rescues 3, 6, 7, and 9, along with fire investigators and command staff, went en route to help provide services to our citizens in need. The initial reports of the units that arrived that morning were that several persons were possibly trapped in the house fire. Upon arrival, it was confirmed that there were indeed 2 people inside. Our crews immediately and simultaneously initiated rescue efforts and firefighting operations. A search and rescue team pulled Michael Haney from the structure while firefighting operations remained engaged. Personnel quickly removed Michael and his sister to ambulances, provided life-saving measures for Michael, and transported both of those patients to the local hospital. Without the execution of firefighting activity, rescue would not have been possible. Our fire department personnel are cross-trained so that they can seamlessly provide the services they need to our citizens. In this particular instance, the firefighters who actually pulled Michael from the structure took him to the ambulance and then drove the ambulance to the hospital, providing care to him as they responded. Teamwork is a foundational component of the fire department operations, and on January 6, 2013, our hardworking personnel, along with their training and education, made a difference in our community.
A proclamation honoring the Henry County Fire Department B Shift North Battalion for the rescue of Michael A. Haney from his burning home. Whereas the Henry County Fire Department North Battalion B Shift responded to a house fire at 192 Highway 138, Stockbridge, Georgia, on the morning of January 6, 2013, and where one resident, Michael A. Haney, had re-entered the home in an attempt to rescue his sister. And whereas Michael was overcome by smoke and did not exit the structure, and whereas firefighters immediately entered the burning home, began a search, and found Michael unconscious on the floor, whereupon they picked him up and carried him out of the burning home. And whereas the firefighters pulled Michael to safety just as the flames grew larger and the smoke grew more dense, spreading throughout the home. And whereas the firefighters risked their lives entering the smoke and fire-filled structure, and whereas firefighters aggressively provided life-saving measures to Michael on the scene, and whereas the firefighters transported Michael to a medical facility without delay, and whereas the swift-thinking, decisive measures and selfless actions taken by these dedicated firefighters were so effective that, although severely overcome by smoke, Michael survived the fatal fire and will not suffer any permanent injury. And whereas the firefighters ultimately performed a heroic act that saved the life of Michael A. Haney, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Henry County Board of Commissioners, together with the Henry County Fire Department, would like to commend the heroic efforts of the firefighters of B Shift North Battalion, who intervened so quickly and courageously to save the life of another, Michael A. Haney. this 19th day of February, 2013, by the Henry County Board of Commissioners.
We're here to recognize those who were engaged in and who were an integral part of saving Michael Haney's life that morning. And first of all, I'd like to call Battalion Chief Barry Cooper forward on behalf of the North Battalion to receive this unit citation for the B-Shift North Battalion and in recognition of honor for your outstanding performance and dedication on a fatal fire January 6, 2013, ultimately resulted in a life saved. I'll call the names of the rest of the people who are here and ask that they come forward, and they'll stand here, and we'll do a picture. Corey Beisel, J.R. Boggs, Lieutenant Glenn Brooks, Lieutenant David Clinton, James Dame, Joey Earl, Hans Fakiri, Todd Harris, Connor Hogan, Captain Dale Hutchison, Division Chief Brad Johnson, Captain Stan Jones, Division Chief Joe Kelly, Christopher McDaniel, Andrew Kane, Jeremy Matthews, Randy Mays, Lieutenant Marty Miller, Jeff Morrison, Lieutenant Ben Patterson, Stephen Poss, Captain Ron Reagan, Lieutenant Keith Scogan, Captain Jeff Sheffield, Eric Shelley, Joe Tamaro, and John Turner.
At this time, we would like to hear a request from Moss Properties LLC, request for waivers for a late penalty and taxes on property tax. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. This request seems a bit insignificant after the presentation that we just had, but I appreciate you taking the opportunity to hear our request. Can I take just a minute, Mr. Chair, to just stage our request?
You take over how much time you need,
Okay.
because it's...
Well, Moss Property, thank you. Thank you. Moss Properties purchased a tract of land up in Stockbridge in 2005. It was about 17 acres of property. It consisted of 3 different lots. One was about 15 acres, and the other 2 made up the 17. The tax assessor's office has kept the assessed value since 2005 at the same value until today. We've actually appealed that value several times, but in 2011, we actually went before the Board of Equalization and asked the board to consider our request to reduce that value. We presented a few items of some restrictions that the property has and just presented a few things. Because we didn't have the evidence and the documents to back that up, they asked if we would present those for consideration in 2012 if we chose to appeal it again. So shortly after that meeting, we actually presented the documents to the tax assessor's office and asked that that be put in the file. And in 2012, the same value came back again on the property, so we did appeal the taxes again in 2012. We went before the Board of Equalization again, and as we began to present our case, we started referencing the documents that we had asked to be put into the file the prior year, and those documents were not in the file. So the board, as they heard our request, they asked that it be tabled because those documents weren't present. There was a person from the board or from the tax commissioner's office that was present, that was aware of those documents, but they couldn't actually put their hands on them. So they asked that it be tabled and told us that within a month that we would be re-invited to another meeting to come back with those documents in place. That month passed, and we were never actually informed of a meeting. So after that month had passed, we actually called, asked about the meeting. We were told that the meeting had taken place, and we had not been invited to it. We had not received any notification of it. So with that scenario in mind, we have since paid the taxes that are due on the property. But there are some interest that's due and possible penalties that are due. And because of that scenario, and because we were trying to go through the process of appealing that, we're simply requesting that any penalties or interest that might have accrued as a result of that process be waived.
I think the total amount is $381.10. Is that what you show?
That's all that we've been notified of.
Okay.
There's the possibility of more than that, but
I might add to this. I went down this afternoon to do some research on my own, and I thought I could see where this gets confusing. So I went down to the tax assessor's office, and I found out that last year the code changed that the tax assessors through his office no longer sends out the notices, because I was going to see whether the system failed on that end. Well, I found out that now by change last year, the Board of Appeals comes under the jurisdiction of the Superior Court clerk. Okay, now, when you met with them, it appears that a letter was not sent. Now, I can't verify that, and they can't verify it wasn't sent either. So for the benefit of the doubt, I'm saying that it appears that you were not notified. And in my mind, that it wouldn't constitute, because we normally don't do this unless it's a hardship. But anytime our system on our end doesn't do exactly what we need to, then obviously we shouldn't bear the burden of the payee on this end is $381. So that's, I don't have any questions. If y'all have some questions.
I do have a question, and it's of the county attorney. I want to make a clarification, please, sir. LaTanya, in the past, and it's been a number of years, but in the past, my company's done business with Mr. Moss. In no way, shape, or form will that have any effect on my judgment. The other thing is that Vernon Moss is a member of my church. I also will state that in no way, shape, or form is that going to have any effect on my vote on the way that I would vote. But I am going to ask the county attorney if does that represent any type of conflict?
Well, do you have any current business relations with Mr. Moss?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any current business relations with
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Moss?
It's been a number of years. I designed, built the Stockbridge Post Office, and Mr. Moss did paving work for me there, and he also did the paving work at my office. But, I mean, that was like some work I had done in the back like 1998 or 9. We haven't had a business relationship in an awfully long time. I don't really do any work in this area, right? You know, so I don't have it. It will not affect the way that I would vote in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Based on what you have described, there is no conflict of interest under our ordinance.
Okay.
There is no conflict of interest.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I would like to also say that I'm not kin to Mr. Miles.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? We entertain a motion for somebody to, yes, sir.
Since it's in my district, I'd like to make the motion that we uphold the appeal. That I think that it's quite. I feel like it's quite. I'm quite sure that somebody dropped the ball somewhere, and knowing the type of people that the Mosses are, and they've been here pretty much all their life, I don't have a problem believing them. So I'd like to make the motion that we uphold their appeal. Am I going the right direction?
Waive the
We can make a
interest?
motion to waive if that's your intent.
Waive, I thought we would uphold the appeal, which would be waive the penalties and interest, and thank you for that, because it's the first time I've seen this, and not this, but it's the first time we've done one. I want to be sure that I do it right and there's no legal issues whatsoever.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. And sometime raise your left hand. Approved. Thank you. I guess that will take a letter to the tax commissioner
Yes,
on behalf of us.
that's right.
Okay. The second issue is Power Plus International Incorporated. If you would come forward, please.
Thank you very much for hearing my case. Mine somewhat is I believe, a clerical error. If I can take just a moment and give a little bit of background. I purchased a building right down the street at 143 McDonough Parkway, purchased two buildings in 2010. When I purchased the buildings, it was sometime in January. The full year of 2010 rolled through. Sometime in January, February, I came to the tax assessor's office and said, hey, I haven't received any taxes. I need to find out what's going on. Well, at the time, the building was still being taxed through MBS Properties, which I believe is Gerald Hudgens and some other gentlemen. So David Curry and his assistant got it corrected, got the address corrected. I wrote Mr. Curry a check at that point in time because I didn't receive taxes. Well, a few months later, the bank that I had my wife purchased the two buildings. The bank that had the two buildings, Enterprise Banking, went out of business, as we all know here in the community. Well, when they went out of business, my company, Power Plus International, purchased the two buildings back from the FDIC, and so my correct tax bill in 2010, well, the one the bill never got to me, went to the MBS Properties, and I went and got that one. In 2011, my tax bill came to the right place, paid on time, 1604 Avey Drive, which is the address that me and my wife live at. When the building was purchased in 2011, which I have here, when it was purchased, Regions Bank went ahead and paid the taxes straight out of the closing, because you have to pay them out of the closing. Well, and they put it in Power Plus International. Well, as this year passed on, I own multiple things. I didn't receive any bill, didn't receive anything. About 2 weeks ago, I received this bill here in the mail with late penalties, and the address on the bill is 125 McDonough Parkway, 143, which that's actually, if you look up the property description, and I'm sure the clerk who entered this in, the property description location is 125-143 McDonough Parkway. Well, 125 McDonough Parkway is an address of Gryffindor Doggy Daycare. And so I'm sure that the bill possibly has been going there. You can look at my records, my personal records, and of any business I own several, never been late on any taxes, pay my taxes on time. And I think the only reason I even got this is because possibly the post office delivered it several times and just knows that Power Plus is in 143 McDonough Parkway. And I think it was just a clerical error in whoever typed it in back in 2011 when the building was purchased back from Power Plus, because on the closing and on the papers here, it's got property location 125-143. But in all reality, 125 is an address. And so if you send something to 125, which is what they did here, it says 125 McDonald Parkway, it's going to continue to go back to the post office and back to the county. It's $245. If I'm late on something, sir, I'll pay the penalty. Just couldn't pay it or anything like that. But this is a situation where I don't believe it was anything malicious. I've contacted with Miss Mathis the first day I got it, and been in contact with her, and asked to speak to David Curry, and I was told that this is a new process, that he no longer could do that, and it would be here. And I said, I'd like to at least bring my case before the commissioners, because it's just $245, but it's just $245 that I just don't believe that I owe.
Is that the total amount you're asking for?
Just $245, sir. And like I told Miss Mathis, I've been ready to write the check for $8,169.20.
So that's all you're asking for a waiver, is that?
Yes, sir, that's all.
$245.07?
That's it, yes, sir, that's all.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And get the address correct, and we get it, and I can do that through Miss Mathis.
So your tax is $8,169.10?
Yes, sir.
I got it.
Yes, sir.
So does anybody have any questions? I think what had happened, just like he said, they sent it to the wrong address, and you would think, I know my neighbor gets a lot of my mail,
Yes, sir.
and my neighbor brings it to me. I get her mail, and I take it to her. But I'm saying, if you're at 125 and you get a tax notice, I wouldn't think they have any reason to take it to 125-143.
Yes.
Is that you?
Yes, sir. I'm 143,
Okay, so-
yes. Yes, sir.
Anyway,
And
yes,
the
sir.
property address is my address of Power Plus, who owns the building, is 143, the last of the suites. And so it evidently just kept going back and forth. So as soon as I received this, I got in touch with, actually.
So your address is really not one, what is
No, my
it?
address is 143, yes, sir, 143.
How did that 125 get in there?
125 is the suite. I own suites 125 through 143. But 125 is a physical address that if you send something.
You don't get it?
I don't get it.
I
No,
got
sir.
you.
Never have got it. No,
So
sir.
you never got this?
No, sir. Not until
Okay.
I got this, and I called her
The
within
distinguished
an hour.
gentleman from District 4 wanted the floor.
Well, I just, there again, I mean, as our citizens come up here, and he's got I'm looking at this information, Mr. Chair, and I see the 125 to 143, and his physical address is 143, then I think somebody needs to make sure it's sent to the right place, and I don't know this gentleman, have never had any dealings with him whatsoever, but I just don't believe our citizen come up here and lie to us over $245 over a situation like this.
Has
It's
that
not,
been straightened out?
sir?
I can vouch for Jerry. I mean, he ran McDonald Youth Association. He's been around McDonald a long time, and it's just a principle of mine on this.
I've been around here all my life.
I only have one question.
Yes, sir.
Did you say you fixed this?
No, sir, I can fix it. Did I give you the correct address? Have we fixed it?
I haven't.
Okay, no, I got with, they
No,
really
I got-
got.
it's
never
gonna
got
be
it.
fixed.
It will be fixed. I'll go,
Okay.
when I go to pay it.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
because I
I got you.
heard this morning. Yes, it will
Okay,
be fixed.
somebody move it. Yes, sir.
I believe the handout that's here. If I could point to something here, that the 24507 is on what appears to be an invoice that was good through 21703, and to the extent that's all you waive, it appears that the additional bill that was printed 219 a month, 19 days later, which is good through 318, now has a penalty of $816.92, and an interest is now at the 326.76 versus the 245. So if you only waive the 245, I believe the tax digest was
That's
supposed
the
to...
same mistake. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so I've been in touch with Mr. Mathis for 3 weeks. I've tried to pay this bill for 3 weeks, have I not? And she said there was no process actually there was no process in
Right.
of doing this. This is the first time, and I have called her. I understand, I've called her
I just
multiple
want,
times.
I
Yes,
just
sir.
want, if action is taken and all
Yes.
you do is 245,
Okay, so
then
we're
the
talking about
penalty that's there...
245 and 1143.98. Is that?
Basically, it would come, I believe it's $1,173.68 on the waiver and penalty.
Okay.
You have to waive both of those on
I
that
got you. And it's
new
all
bill.
stemmed around, you never got the bill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I've been in touch with Ms. Masters way before this penalty was
Okay.
ever.
Does somebody move in that direction?
I'll make a motion that we waive the fees for $1,173.68.
Here, second. We have a motion from District 3, second from District 2. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand or left hand.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just, Ms. Mathis, get with you tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, we have Dr. Wash, full service. If you would come forward, please.
Hi, good evening. Okay, I'm language barrier, so if I don't understand or I don't speak right, please understand. And I joined I took over the business middle of May, last year May. So the tax, 2012 tax mailed to the ex-owner's P.O. box, not the physical location. So I didn't get the invoice before November. So I didn't know about that. I couldn't pay for that. I received the invoice a few weeks ago. So there's already the interest applied to the 2012 tax. So I want to waiver the interest from the
Okay,
tax
so
invoice.
what you're saying is you purchased this and they sent your tax notice to the previous owner's box, you think? So you never got the bill, is that correct?
I never got before November. I didn't get the invoice.
Jim, could we find out the address of this location? I don't see it on the bill.
Must be that car wash right there at City Square on Racetrack Road. Is that where this is?
Yes, yes.
That car wash right there at the racetrack
I don't see it.
and Zach Hinton. Zach Hinton. And is that it?
Yes. So lately, when I talked to the officer, we changed the address correctly.
Anybody have any questions?
What is the total now?
I got total.
167.90, is that
I got 197.90.
197, and that's what I got. I didn't add the $30, that's what it is.
$30 other
Yeah.
fees. I don't
Yeah,
know what
I
that
don't know what
is.
that other fee is. 197. Does anybody have a pleasure?
It's in District 1.
Okay, you, no questions, somebody want, yes, sir.
Are there two pieces of property here?
It's just one, isn't it? Is this one piece of property, one?
Actually, Dr. Wash in the McDonough area and one in Racetrack City Square, but I'm here with the City Square because Dr. Wash already the office waived the interest there for the new owners there.
We talking about,
City Square.
we're talking about 197.90 plus 35.97? Is that what you
Total
said?
197.90.
Yeah, but it's another sheet now, what the county manager brought to our attention, it's another sheet that shows
It appears it's attached. but that's just-
35.97, is that what you're showing?
It appears what she's saying, the other one was taken care of, it happened to be included, so we're back to just the 197.90.
Yeah.
So which one was taken care of?
I was looking at the map codes. The two bills that are attached, I was just looking at the map code, 52813, and the other one is 53259, so I was thinking they're two separate, but as what I'm hearing her say is the one's been taken care of, so it appears the only one that's being requested as City Square, which is 52813 on the map code, which again is the
Is
19790.
that correct? You're only asking for one piece of property? If so, which one?
City scale one.
And that would be the 19790 that you're referencing.
That's the only one?
197.9.
Okay, the other one that's in here, they went to the wrong address. This 362, what's that for?
430, you mean Dr. Wash? 430?
So you're just asking for one piece of property, and it totaled up to 197.90, is that correct?
I come up with 113.64 from 2 bills.
Shay, would you be so kind as to let her put a finger on the one, please? There's two. I think it's two. It's,
City Square.
No,
Express Car Wash. That's it, racetrack. Is that can?
yes, but where's the other one?
just two.
Both of them are there. No? Is that where it
Dr.
changed?
Wash.
Is that where it changed hands?
81.
Did it used to be City Square,
35.
and then it changed the name of it to Dr. Wash Full Service? Is that,
No, Dr. Wash is down on 81.
oh, what are we talking about, two?
City Square and Dr. Wash. She's talking about both properties, two different properties.
Okay, you're talking about one is 197.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was confused.
And then you're talking about one that's 258?
Yes, map code 53259, which is Dr. Wash Full Service, and map code 52813.
Okay, so all of these went to the previous owner's address? Is that what you said?
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Went to the previous owner.
Yes.
How did you get the bill?
The ex-owner forwarded me.
The
Okay.
old owner forwarded it to her.
Now, when did that happen?
A few weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, so it was
Yeah, I
already
got-
late when you got it.
Lately, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. So it was late when you got it 2 weeks ago.
It already incurred the interest when you received it.
Yes. Because it's over November, so I think officer, they just applied the interest already when I got.
Okay, that's in your district, Gary. Did you get the total on that? So we're talking two. It'll be 197. 197.90. And the other one.
$5,932, is that right?
3. That's it. Yeah,
Is that it?
that's it. Yeah, that's what I get. Has this been corrected? Has it been fixed? Do they have your new address?
Yes.
Okay, it's just been fixed, so. Yes, sir.
Can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I will follow the wishes of the board on this particular item. However, I'm not sure I feel comfortable going forward without the District 1 Commissioner being here. But there again, if there's a motion and a second made, then,
He's right here.
oh, I'm thinking about Brian Treffy.
No, that's District 2.
You know, it's nighttime, and I got a senior moment.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what it is, but
Yes, sir.
but I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That's District 1.
Sorry about that, Mr. Moss.
No problem. So what total did you come up with?
We come up with
5,932.
32.
590, 32.
Okay.
That's on both properties, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll entertain a motion to waive 59032.
Okay, so you're moving that direction. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second. We have a second, the gentleman from District 5. Any further discussions? All in favor say aye. Correction, all in favor raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you so much. Next, we recognize Public Safety. We have a resolution requesting acceptance of a donation from the Grace Baptist Sunday School to purchase a United Level 3A ballistic shield, and Major Mark Merriman, Police Department, Exhibit 1.
Good evening, Chairman.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. It was only about a month ago when I was before you. Glen Haven and the Bible School had bought us 2 shields. They had raised money. About a week after that, we did a little presentation where the SWAT team went up and with the Bible School class. Well, at that point, there's a Gloria Marlowe who wanted to give more to get us another shield, and she donated another additional $1,005 to buy us another shield. She saw a need that we needed it, and she did that for us, and we really appreciate it. Can't say enough about what Glen Haven and all their members do for the Henry County Police Department. They've really adopted us, and they take care of us when we have needs. So I'm asking the board to accept this donation from them.
Anybody have any questions? Somebody have a motion to
I
accept?
move that we accept it, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion, have a second? We have a second, District 1. All in favor of the resolution, raise your right hand. Is anybody here from that Sunday school class?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Marlowe is actually here. She's the lady that give the money through the Grace Bible class.
Okay.
And she's one of the strong supporters for our public safety, both police and fire.
I think we need to get a picture.
Absolutely.
Next on the agenda, we have a resolution requesting acceptance of donation from Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership.
Yes, sir. Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership, they're an occupant of Henry Town Center on Jonesboro Road. They wanted to donate $500 to the police department. They really appreciate what we do. We keep a high visibility out there, respond to their calls, and to show their appreciation, they graciously offered to donate $500. We asked the board to accept this.
Anybody got any questions? Somebody move that we accept this donation. Okay, have a motion from District 5, second from District 4. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same side. We have anybody here from Aaron Rents?
I didn't see anybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Plan is owner requests acceptance of a trailer to be used by the Henry County 4-H Club, Susan Howington. Afternoon.
Good evening, Chairman and board members. We would like to have a resolution requesting acceptance of a trailer for the 4-H program.
This will be, as I understand it, be used by the 4-H shooting team?
It will be.
Okay. It requires a small trailer to haul their equipment in. The funds were raised to purchase the trailer by the 4-H. The trailer was purchased in an amount of $3,100, and whereas the Henry County Extension Service on behalf of Henry County 4-H's would like to donate this trailer. So, anybody have any questions? Will somebody move in that direction?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by District 4.
Second.
Second by District 3. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same signs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a public hearing. This constitutes a public hearing. Text amendment, an ordinance to amend the Unified Land Development Code, ULDC Section 12-02-04, requirements regarding dedication of public improvements or public sites as it pertains to Section 3C of the ULDC. Michael Harris.
Good evening, Chairman, good evening, board members. At the last board meeting, out of abundance of caution, we brought an item to approve a final plat for a particular subdivision. This was done principally because there's a section in our ULDC Unified Land Development Code, Section 12.0204, which makes reference to the acceptance of public right-of-way by Board of Commissioners acceptance. This section is associated with the dedication of, principally that section is associated with the dedication of public improvements or public sites. Section 12.03, section just prior to that, outlines the process that staff has used for several years in reviewing and approving final subdivision plats, both residential and commercial, including the associated right-of-way associated with those subdivisions. This evening, staff is requesting a text amendment to clarify this process, to bring it in line with the process that we have followed over the last number of years, to correct some incorrect language, principally the titles of the departments and the division, and also ratify all those subdivisions which have been previously approved since the adoption of the ULDC in September of 2009. Again, it changes no conditions on any of those subdivisions, no conditions, amendments, or modification. It simply goes back, ratifies those that have previously have been approved, and amends the text language.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If I'm reading this correctly, in this document that we have, which is somewhat lengthy, the requested modification is in red. Is that correct?
That's correct. That the red is indicative of the track change, what we're making changes to. Yes, sir.
The part we're taking out is like building is in red, but it's scratched through. So that's what it was, and now it's a red. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, then the new language should be adjacent to it.
Anybody have any questions? I read this, and I don't see. I think it's needed for clarification, but I'm by no means sanctioning it because I've read it and studied it, but I don't know the impact like professional people would know it. So I'm gonna allow.
The process we currently have in place now, it's reviewed by a committee, staff, building department, environmental compliance and plan review, our zoning department, our DOT reviews it, fire department. A number of departments review each and every plat that comes through. We sit down as a committee, review it, and make sure all the requirements are being met before final signature is done. If it's a subdivision located within unincorporated Henry County, that sign-off involves the director of the environmental compliance and plan review department, as well as myself. If the subdivision involves one of the cities that we have jurisdiction over handling the final plat review process, then that final sign-off would be the environmental compliance and plan review director and the respective mayor of that city. So again, that's a process that we followed for probably in excess of 10 years, or 7 years.
So one of the things I read in here, I think the only thing you savaged was in black, it says within. The rest of it's red. It says, the jurisdiction of a city for which the county by agreement has the responsibility to review any final plats, the notation shall be changed to reference the mayor of that respective city in lieu of the director of planning and zoning service division.
That's correct.
Wasn't that the way it was many years ago?
That the mayor would sign? Well, if it's in the city, then the mayor, they have jurisdiction to sign. We do a staff review, and our staff member, in this case, Mr. George Patterson, but if it's located within the city jurisdiction, and if it's one of those cities that we have an agreement that we handle their final plating procedures for, then that respective mayor will sign the final plat.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody want to move in that direction?
Chairman, this is a public hearing.
I'm sorry.
We have to take
I'm sorry.
public notice.
Thank you. I got a note here. This constitutes a public hearing. Anybody like to approach the bench and speak for or against or make any comments of this proposed change? Seeing none, a motion would be in order. I move we adopt it.
Oh, you're looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I make a move, I'm
Okay.
not hearing for some reason.
Yes, sir.
That's awful, but I make a move that we.
I withdraw my motion. We have the distinguished gentleman for District 4 make a motion. We have the second from the distinguished gentleman from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Public Works. Our Public Works Division Director, Terry McMickle.
Good evening, Chairman, board members. Tonight we want to bring before you a signal application permit from GDOT for Jonesboro Road at Mount Carmel. GDOT is doing some express lanes on I-75 that will involve having to improve some intersections to be able to take care of that traffic as it comes on and off of the managed lane. So they want to signalize the intersection of Jonesboro Road and Mount Carmel. Since Mount Carmel is a county road, they would like us to sign for that signal permit. That would be one that they would be installing, and there would not be any county funds required for this. We will have to, as part of ours, we do have to pay for the energy or the electric bill, if you will, for that traffic signal.
How much would that be?
That one's probably Georgia Power. It'll probably be in the neighborhood of $25 to $35 a month.
Last year, that didn't sound like a lot. It sounds like a lot this year. If
you pay, when you start considering all the traffic signals in the county, it gets to be a pretty good sum.
So let me ask you this. In the motion to approve this, it costs us nothing other than that expense per month. It will require us the board to authorize the chairman to initiate the request. So even though we're requesting this, then they will furnish the total cost of it.
This authorizes the chairman to sign that signal permit, which, ratifies that the board agrees with that signal installation at that location.
Okay, I think I agree. I know what you're saying, but on this thing that I'm fixing to sign, if y'all approve it, it says we're requesting the traffic signal. And normally, with GDOT, when you request something, they expect you to pay for it. So, and you're saying that there would be no cost incurred to Henry County, other than the $30-some-odd a month.
Usually all the costs, when they come to us like this, the usual cost here is just for the energy cost, which is the bill.
Okay.
If it would have spelled out, what participation they would want. If they do come and ask for money, I'll assure you I will bring that back to this board.
Does somebody approve resolution that causes this to happen?
I'll move that we'll go ahead and authorize you to sign this signal permit with GDOT.
Okay, we have a motion from District 3. We have a second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you so much. Okay, we're ready for the next item.
Chairman, this is, we're asking to award bid number 13-15-SB for electronic recycling service and to Creative Recycling Services of Georgia and Regency Technologies. So what we're asking here is we have bid out the electronics that we are currently receiving at our recycle center, and if you've been out there, we've got a pretty good stack of them right now. We do accept certain electronic components. These are CPUs, laptops, LCDs, do not accept television, loose power cords, other type e-waste such as copiers, printers, cell phones, and other electrical items such as household appliances, which would include vacuums, toasters, blenders, microwaves, hair dryers. We put that out for bid. We would like to do a split award here and for these items. So we would like to award to Creative Recycling Services of Georgia the laptops, LCDs, CRTs, loose power cords, televisions and other waste, and electrical waste, and award to Regency Technologies the CPUs and cell phones. Let me quickly explain why we want to award the televisions. On occasions, we have people that will leave us those televisions even though we don't accept them. I guess they gift them to us, although we don't want them to gift them to us. So this provides this, one of these companies will take them. They don't charge for us to take them, but they will take them on a very limited basis. So if we end up with some of those at our center, we can send them there. They will not charge us to take televisions. So I don't want to give the implication to the general public that we take televisions, because we do not. However, if we do end up with one, they will take those on an occasional basis.
Let me ask you this. I know, looking at the calculation of the bids, are these people agreeable that we can pick and choose each one from a vendor?
I believe purchasing did contact them, and Mr. Gray's here, but I believe purchasing did contact them, because in the beginning I was more of awarding to one. Purchasing wanted to split bid, so I believe
I think Mr. Gray can enlighten us.
Yes, sir, they have agreed to a split award.
Okay.
It was in the best financial interest of the county to split it that way.
I got you. Okay. Anybody have any questions? We're now looking for a motion.
Thank you, sir. Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Have a second from the distinguished gentleman from District 5. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board.
Next, we'll have a resolution requesting acceptance of the Federal Transit Administration Fiscal Year 2012, Section 5307, 5340. David Williamson, the Transit Director. Good afternoon.
Good evening. Henry County is a member of the Atlanta Regional Commission and is, as such, is eligible for Federal Transit Administration 5307 and 5340 funds. ARC has notified us of a balance of $210,171 that are available from the FY12 year. Previous funds have been used to build the new transit building, to purchase buses, purchase preventive maintenance type of equipment. This grant has a 4-year life cycle, meaning that the use of those funds can be spread out over a 4-year period, and there's a 20% local match that is required.
So that means our 20% is about $42,034?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you come up with?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this $42,034 is over a 4-year cycle?
Yes.
Okay, so that means it won't be spent, we won't be expected to come up with $40,000 in 1 year. It would be spread out over 4 years.
It could be spread out over 4 years.
You
could do it either way. If you wanted to, if you approved a total purchase.
I want it to be spread out over 4 years.
Okay. It could, yes.
Okay. That's $10,000 a year. We can handle that.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'm looking for a motion. You move. We have a motion from District 5. Second from District 4. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Correction, all opposed, raise your right hand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Animal Control. Julie Yoder, Director of Animal Control and Care.
Good evening,
Good evening.
gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Rod Gray for his assistance in the preparation that went into this. The large incinerator that's located on animal control property was installed in 2004. It has shared use by not only animal control, but the Henry County Police Department, Henry County DOT, and to a lesser extent by the Henry County Sheriff's Department. Other than basic maintenance, the incinerator has never received any major repairs since it was installed. The primary burn chamber has exceeded its useful life, which has negatively affected the ability of the incinerator to burn properly and efficiently. The unit is taking 30 to 45 minutes to fire when it should take approximately 15, and a burn which should take approximately 10 to 12 hours is taking upwards of 24 hours to complete the total burn cycle. The interior walls of the incinerator are cracked, the door sills are leaking, and the incinerator door itself is warped. We have two current choices. One is to either repair the unit, and the second one is just not to have a unit. Especially in the case of the items that are burned for the police and sheriff's department, these cleared property and evidence that we're currently incinerating, these aren't items that can be thrown in a landfill. They can't be disposed of in the garbage. They can't be burned in a burn pile. These are items that have to be incinerated. So a quotation was solicited from the company that designed and installed the incinerator, which is Best Tech Environmental Resources of Woodstock, Alabama, and the recommendation is to approve the emergency repair submitted by Best Tech at a total cost of $38,305. Funds for this repair would be transferred from the contingency account through a budget amendment, which would leave a balance of $42,175 in the contingency account for the remainder of FY 2013.
Let me ask this question. With the budget amendment, do we have plans when that will take place?
As soon as the resolution is signed, then the budget amendment will be entered into the system.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I would entertain the language change where it says, this is just play on words. It says, in the last paragraph now, therefore, will be resolved, etc. It says, funds for this repair will be transferred from undesignated fund balance. I would like that to say something like, I would like to put the language in there that we know where it's coming from in the resolution. So I would like to put that the fund is coming from a budget amendment that's from the contingent account. Would that yeah, that's where it's coming from. I think we just need to show in the resolution exactly what you stated.
Correct.
I don't like this undesignated fund balance. Undesignated. I mean, I know what it means. It means that the funds have not been delegated or designated.
I will change that to contingency funds.
Yes.
Would that be the appropriate
Yes.
word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know what undesignated fund means, but it sounds like it's undesignated. You can't figure that out either, can you? Does somebody have a motion we do this?
I make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we move to approve with the language inserted by the chair.
Okay, we have a motion from District 4. Do we have a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Have a second from District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no. So moved. Thank you. Next, we'll recognize the county manager.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Come before you tonight really to basically spread across the minutes an annexation that's taken place by the City of McDonough. Back in October 10th, we received notification from the City of McDonough that an application had been received from an Eric Rafalik Merganser Enterprises to annex and rezone property located at 5 Sarah Bend. On October 18th, planning staff prepared a staff analysis and determination was made. The county had no grounds to object to the request based on House Bill 489 regarding annexation. Then on November 19th, City of McDonough, by ordinance, did annex and rezone the aforementioned property. As I said, this is just to have this spread across the minutes regarding this annexation.
Let me ask you this.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Could you just play this, please? If you got this one where it shows it in the red, that's the only part we're annexing, right? And this contiguous to the purple or the lavender color it's in the city limits now?
This piece right here, I think I have a different one to use. It's the table down here. It says requested with the stripes on it, and this is it right here. Right upside down.
Okay. Can we look at this? That map didn't match this map. That's the part they annexing, right? Just that one lot. Is that?
Yes. If you take this road here, this vacant.
Oh, this is in the city now, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is all.
This is all they're getting, yes, sir. And if you, what else? That's the same one here.
That's what they want to annex.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it don't match what you just put up there. That's what I'm.
Okay.
Yeah, take that and look at it, and I may be wrong. You might have had it backwards.
Mr. Chair, that we're commenting, it doesn't pertain to this, but and I know we're new using our tablets, but several of my pages came in upside down, and no matter which way I turned my notebook, it was still upside down. So,
yes, sir.
Just for future reference, if we could check that. And I guess maybe 4 or 5 came in upside down. I don't know if it happened on any of the other commissioners. Did it happen on yours too? We just might need to make a note because we can't make it get the right direction. So,
I think all of them are the same. Is what it is.
If I can, this road here is the same as this road here. Here's Sarah Bend here, same as here. This is this is not already. This is not the property. This red here that you were pointing out.
Yes, sir.
Is the same as this piece of property here that I was pointing out before. There's a piece of property here, which is this piece of property there. So you can see right here and here, this is the same property.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Does legal counsel have any questions or comments? Thank you. What type of action does it take? This, none. You're just giving us a briefing. Okay? Thank you. Resolution approving memorandum of understanding of GDOT for participation in the Georgia Unified Certification Program.
Prior owner, Clayton County, had signed an original MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, in around 2002. The program is a federally mandated program for any agency that receives federal funds. Since the airport has been receiving federal funds, we need to have an MOU as part of a DBE program requirement. The program is for the disadvantaged business enterprise, acronym DBE. We're currently creating the DBE plan. I just received it yesterday, and we'll be publishing it for citizen review, along with the consultant LPA. And May of last year, 2012, by Resolution 12-81, the Board approved the DBE program update and Small Business Participation Plan services with LPA. Purpose of the MOU is to have the county formally join with other recipients in the state of Georgia in acknowledging that there is a unified certification program, UCP, in the state, and the county will participate in it. Basically, if we don't join that, we would have to be performing certifications ourselves. This allows us to piggyback onto the state's DBE program and not have to go through that process. It requires this MOU with the state to be able to do that.
So what you're saying, the MOU, it has to be first, and then it goes in conjunction with the DBE.
Yes, the way the DBE has been put together, it's referencing that they were, the consultant who's doing it has referenced in the DBE that we were going to be part of the UCP. So as far as publishing it goes, until the MOU's done, we can't publish it, or we've got to take out that we're going to be our own, do our own certification, which is a lot of work that we don't have the expertise and talent to do. So
anybody have any questions? If not, does somebody move that we approve the resolution? Have a move to approve. Have it from District 4. Have a second from District 5. Any further discussion? Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no. Same sign. Thank you so much. Now we have District 1 appointment from Council on Aging. Yes, sir.
Yes, I would like to move to appoint for the Council of Aging Ms. Barbara Price, Ms. Chanel Davis, and Mr. Stuart Sons for the Council of Aging. And I'd also like to take a minute and thank Ms. Hazel Gardner for all her years of service to the seniors.
You putting that in a motion to approve the resolution? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. I have a second from District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. We have 2 people signed up.
Mr. Chair, are we doing just 5 or did we cancel?
Which one?
Handout 5?
No, sir.
Oh, we're not doing that?
No, sir. We are, but it's coming under another issue.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it comes down so quick that we have, it's coming up under another one. We'd like to recognize Mr. Chris Street. If you would come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Chris Street. I live at 102 Turner Circle in McDonough on the north side of the city. I'm also the Scoutmaster of Hampton Boy Scout Troop 162, and I appreciate you all recognizing the fact that we brought these boys here tonight to do their citizenship and the community merit badge as well as their communications merit badge. I personally needed to address the board about a separate matter, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to show these young men how the process works. I've asked, Mrs. Mathis, have you passed out the maps, please? Thank you very much. The matter I would like to discuss with you is the one-lane road that I live on is in terrible shape, and it needs to be repaved or resurfaced. The paper that each one of you have in front of you details what I wish to discuss. As I previously stated, my family lives on Turner Circle, north of the city of McDonough, along with 10 other families. My family has personally lived in Henry County for over 7 years. And as you can see, the road meanders between Highway 155 and Campground Road. Our little road is a one-lane, improved asphalt shaving road. It was originally a gravel road, but was improved approximately 10 years ago with surface shavings from a repaving project on I-75. The shavings were placed on our road during summer and were packed, creating a fairly uniform surface, according to my neighbors that lived there when it happened. Since then, the road has deteriorated and has been patched multiple times with crusher run and tar. The road is returning to a cross between a gravel road and one massive pothole repair is the best way I know to describe it. Back in the fall, I contacted the Henry County Department of Transportation and spoke with the supervisor who was in charge of repaving roads, resurfacing roads, and I discussed with him having our road resurfaced. He informed me that to pave our road will require a survey, widening the road to 2 lanes, and then striping it. That expenditure is really not needed or required, as our road does not have that amount of traffic to warrant 2 lanes, much less striping it. To spend that kind of money, I felt, would be a gross misuse of taxpayer funds. I then contacted Randy Stamey last fall, and he suggested to bring the issue before the full board with my ideas and a request. I decided to wait until after the election to bring this before the board, and also knew that I'd be bringing these boys. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So to the point of what I am requesting is to resurface the road with the less expensive alternating layers of crusher run and tar. In addition, because the road is not a connecting road or shortcut between 155 and Campground, I suggest saving further taxpayer funds by only resurfacing the section between Highway 155 and where the Will Hoyt's driveway comes into Turner Circle, it's marked on the map, and the section between Campground and Mrs. Newsom's driveway, also on the map. The total distance to be resurfaced would be 1 lane of approximately 2,900 feet, a little over half a mile. The road is a total of 0.8 of a mile. I looked online and did some research, and I must admit it was quite difficult to come up with a price of what it would actually take to resurface a 1 mile of road 12 feet wide. The best I could come up with would be about $250,000 to resurface 1 mile, or $47 per linear foot. My best estimate to resurface the 2,900 feet of our road would cost approximately $136,000. Not having Henry County's individual cost to have a road resurfaced, this is only a generic estimate and the best guess I could come up with off the internet. The other choice is to do nothing or to continue patching what is there. If this is the decision of the board, and I don't know how the county, how this works with the county, but I'm sure you gentlemen will tell me here in a moment. If this is your decision, I would ask the areas that are highlighted in orange to be repatched immediately, as they are in terrible shape. The road is beginning to wash away in places. One thing I would recommend and suggest is that under no circumstances should a road scrape be used to get on a road, as it has been done in times past. It has done far more damage to the road than good. I greatly appreciate your time this evening, and I appreciate your consideration. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you so much. What I will do, I'm going to pass this to the DOT Division Director, and he can do some research and then contact you with this information right here.
Excellent. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Next, we'd like to recognize Mr. James Haney. I'm going to pass these down and y'all look at that. He's going to be making reference.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. Some of you don't realize this is my 4th visit. In my letter here, I want to tell you ahead of time, I'm not being facetious, but I said, well, you know, I'm an old man. I can keep coming till I quit, and then my wife will take over. But really and truly, we have a serious situation on our road, out of our subdivision. I'll read this as I wrote it last night. Mr. Chairman, the photos I provided you tonight were the same as those I presented to the board in 2011. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the residents of our community experience on a daily basis an extremely dangerous situation each time they leave or return to their community in their vehicles. Vehicles traveling west on Old Conyers Road and traversing the incline prior to Cedar Hill Drive aren't visible until all are within just a few seconds from the exit to Cedar Hill Drive or our subdivision. And I want to apologize for not bringing the sufficient amount for all of you. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this safety matter which I am presenting tonight was brought before the board in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013 now. There was a rush to make a splash in 2010. However, it quickly faded away. Several of the board members in 2010 are no longer here. The lack of a reasonable, safe, low-cost solution at that time was ignored. We, the people, have begun to believe that you, the board, who make the decisions on what I have presented on behalf of the people, believe it will just go away. I will assure you it will not happen. We will not allow it to be pushed to the trash can. We, the people, know there are many areas in Henry County in need of repair, and some of those are just like the one I have brought before the board the past 3 years, and am doing so again tonight. Please listen to my words. It will not go away. This is a matter that only you, the board members of Henry County, can ensure positive fruition for the people, including all citizens within Henry County. The citizens of our community are again requesting that an electronic eye be installed on the north side of Old Conyers Road at the bottom of the incline, approximately 30 feet west of Flanks Road, which connects with Old Conyers Road. A light, which would be an integral part of the electrical eye, could be installed on the south side of Old Conyers Road directly across from Cedar Hill Drive. The electric eye would detect traffic traveling west on Old Conyers Road at the bottom of the incline. An electric signal would be transmitted to the light. The light would flash when traffic was detected, warning drivers of oncoming traffic. If the light is flashing, vehicles exiting or entering Old Conyers Road would continue to obey stop sign prior to entering Old Conyers Road, and those exiting would have sufficient time to determine that the safety prior to exiting without impeding the traffic that most of the time is falling behind them and has often resulted in near rear-end accidents. Yesterday, I and my wife almost, I'd say within 15 feet, would have gotten hit, and it may have killed my wife, because this road is terrible, and the people don't obey the traffic. You can put up a 5-mile-an-hour zone, and they're going to do 50. If and when the power is a failure, I should know that during the 12 years I have resided in the county, there have only been a very few power failures lasting for 30 minutes to 2 hours. Upgrading the electrical system has resulted in more outages than actual power failures. During the upgrading, there is always someone on scene to assist in the flow traffic. In addition to the 2 safety measures, a solar panel for this battery could be installed as a backup for the other 2 systems. Why should we believe the electronic system on the peak of the overpass on Highway 13842 is or should be any different? They both would work on the same principle, warning of changing lights and also of traffic being backed up at the bottom of the hill going south toward on 42 and 138. During my effort to have the citizens of Old South community sign the attached measure I presented in 2011, I learned of serious incidents occurring during the past several years in which I was unaware except for one. That one was a gentleman was turning into our subdivision. It was dusk dark. There was a car coming up the incline. No lights. Both cars was totaled.
Okay, the 5 minutes is up.
Sir?
Your 5 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I got the package. I'm going to give it to the DOT director, and I'm going to ask that he report back to us his findings, and then we will get in contact with you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And I assure you it won't take 3 or 4 years. Okay? Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
I would like a comment. I'd like to respectfully request that when our DOT person goes out to the site, that I get a call and have an opportunity to go to the site. Also, I'd like to physically see it. I've seen it one time before, but I'll be honest with you, the past few months, for whatever reason, that's had to come up. But I would like to request that when Terry goes out, that I be contacted. I'd like to be on that, if you don't mind.
Do we have an acknowledgement that will take place? We have an acknowledgement from the division director. We have an acknowledgement from the division director that will happen.
Thank you, sir. So I've got some medication that's got my ears about half stopped up. So.
Yes, sir. Chairman of commission comments. Any commissioner have a comment at this time? The only thing I would like to comment on, we obviously added a little to our agenda. We are now in the process of people that want to request for various reasons, the board to consider waiving interest and penalties on unpaid ad valorem tax or late tax. We're going to come up with a process. I've had some people in this past week that has had some severe hardships, and talking to some of the board members, we're going to have a mechanism to where we're going to hear these people that come forward, but I don't think it would be in the public's best interest for these people to have to come up and be on TV, because some of them they get very emotional. So the board is going to consider, we're going to continue hearing this, and it will all be public, but for the conveniency of the public will be there, we contemplating coming up with a system where we will hear these issues only on a certain day of the month, and we'll have it in conference room B, and the public, the news media can all be there, but it won't be like somebody having to dry out their hardships on TV, and that would be very difficult. Some are very touching and some are hardships. So in order to consider waiving tax penalties and interest, obviously, we can't waiver the tax. But if there's an error like tonight, the appeal process has changed and people got confused, that warrants a hardship. Obviously, if being homeowners yourself or property owners, if somebody, you just bought a piece of property last month and they send it to the wrong owner, then obviously that's kind of our error and your error. But anyway, I just wanted the public to know that we're going to continue having this, but we're going to come up with a mechanism that a citizen can make an appeal to the board in public session, but it won't be on TV. And if anybody has a problem with that, you need to let me know. But it's kind of like the proper thing to do.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would
sir.
like to make, and I apologize, I have run my mouth way too much tonight, but this is totally unrelated to anything that we've talked about tonight or we will talk about. As most of you know, I've went through chemo treatments for cancer over the last 7 months, and actually been sick for a little over 9 months. And I just want to take this opportunity to, first of all, thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for the grace that He gave me and the strength to go through what I had to go through. Also, I want to especially thank the people in this county that I don't know, that sent me cards and letters and put me on their prayer list at their churches, and gave me so much uplifting and strength to go through the things that I went through. I know a lot of people's gone through it. I know it affects just about every family in one way or the other. But this thing when they walk in and say you got cancer, those 3 words scare you to death. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it didn't. But I want to tell those folks that sent the cards, they came at the right time. They came exactly when God wanted me to see them. Because the times they came, I was, I shouldn't do this, and I'm going to do my best not to. But they came when I needed them the most. And I also thank my family, who was extremely strong in supporting me, and my church. And I want to thank this board, the previous board and this board, for putting up with me, because, there were times I didn't feel like being here, but I was here. I'm on some things, got my ears kind of messed up, and I apologize tonight for a few things that happened there. But I feel like it was necessary to tell you that this time I'm cancer-free, and I praise God for the grace and the strength that He gave me through that time. And I want to thank the county and the citizens of the county for the things that they sent. And that's all I'm going to have to say, and I appreciate it, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to make that comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? County Manager, do you have any comments?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
At the Wednesday, February 13th, 6:30 called meeting, the county, I was directed by the resolution that was passed to direct letter 2, Apports on the rejection and termination of their contract, of the contract effective 3/1/13. The next day, I had a medical procedure, so I was out, and I do mean out. And when I did return the next day, Friday, the 15th, I did get that letter out by email, as well as sending it out by postal service. I received a phone call from Mr. Moore, the President and CEO of Apports, on Monday that he would like to exercise his right under Section 13.03. I did receive that letter today by email. I'd like to read it into the records, if I may, please. February 19th, 2013. Dear Fred, thank you for your letter of February 15, 2013, in which you conveyed the rejection by your BOC on February 13, 2013, of our contract dated September 7, 2012, under paragraph 13.03 thereof. Thank you also for your kind words with respect to Apport's above and beyond assistance to the county and its unstanding support for the airport. The above rejection by your BOC has left Apport uncertain about the long-term development strategy for the airport and about its role, if any, in it. As a result, and consistent with the same paragraph 1303, Apport hereby terminates our contract with the county dated September 7, 2012, with an effective date from February 28, 2013. By our calculation, the termination effective February 28th would also, according to the same paragraph 1303, result in termination payment of $23,835.62, 174 days times 50,000 divided by 365 days, from September 7, 2012 to February 28, 2013, being due to Apports. We trust you agree with this figure and look forward to its early settlement. We thank you sincerely for your forthrightness throughout the association, for the opportunity to work with the county to bring the airport to the threshold level of development and self-sufficiency it has achieved to date. With kind regards and best wishes, Oswin Moore. What this basically states is that they are exercising under 1303 their desire to terminate the contract. They're doing it one day prior to the boards. This was something that was discussed when the contract was put in place, to allow them the opportunity to terminate as well prior to, instead of, in their terms, being fired. So they've selected the date prior to. What it does do is it reduces the amount of the fee by one day. It's about $136, I believe, a day. I had indicated to the board that the figure, I think, would have been near $24,000 with that extra day. I also indicated, as per all the other paragraphs within the contract, there were no other outstanding costs. This letter again confirms there are no other costs other than that fee, and the amount is correct as he asked me to confirm. So I just wanted to read in the record that basically they are terminating the contract as well the day prior to the board's.
Anybody have any questions about that? Does everybody understand it? Okay.
Thank you.
I don't think that takes any kind of action.
No, I just wanted to just get it in so that everybody understood that we did
Thank you so
receive.
much. Do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Do we have any county attorney?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr.
You
Chairman.
want to present that, you want me to?
I see that the Council for the Water Authority is here, so he may want to come up to present some legislation. We have some legislation with the Water Authority, and we are seeking to have the board's resolution approved in support of that legislation, and Mr. Welch is here to speak in greater detail.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir and sirs. The Henry County Water and Sewage Authority adopted a resolution in which they asked the Board of Commissioners to join with them and make a recommendation to the legislative delegation that the charter of the authority be brought up to date, dealing solely with the water and sewer services that we provide to the county. Our original act was adopted in 1961, and the language that we have used has been prepared by our bond counsel, Jim Henderson and Matt Nichols in Atlanta, and they recommend that we move forward with this, and the authority requests your approval and your recommendation.
Anybody have any questions? You have before you a resolution, and it states exactly what he said. Reading the preamble, it says, "Resolution concerning the Henry County Water and Sewer Authority request to amend and act creating the Henry County Water and Sewer Authority to authorize the chairman to sign all documents necessary to effectively the resolution, authorize the county clerk to attest signatures and affix the official seal of the county as necessary to repeal inconsistent resolutions, to provide for an effective date and for other purposes." Does somebody move in that direction? We adopt this
I
resolution.
move to approve.
We have a motion from District 3 to approve. We have a second from District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, uplift to your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Thank you, Mr. Welch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Upcoming meetings, I'm sorry, County Attorney, do you have any other?
No, I have no further comments.
Thank you so much. Upcoming meetings and event, Tuesday, March the 5th at 9 a.m. and Tuesday, March the 19th at 6:30 p.m. are regular board meetings. We have no executive session. We will not reconvene. We will not approve affidavit unless somebody wants to amend the agenda to add something to it. Does somebody move we adjourn?
Absolutely.
Who moved?
Second.
Second. Have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you so much.